guys. Luke here of SimBoxx. I'm delighted this morning. Yeah, that's this morning. Usually recording the evenings, but we're here this morning with a very special guest, heavyweight boxer Junior Farr, all the way from New Zealand. Junior, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us on the channel. How are you, my friend?
No problem, man. It's great. It's been a long time since I've been asked for an interview. I was like, yeah, sweet, why not, bro? Jump on the opportunity.
Absolutely. I've seen that you've been dipping your toes into the media side of things with boxing. You're putting out some good content, some great insight, obviously, with having the experience of fighting at the very top level yourself and then sharing your thoughts and opinions on the latest boxing news. It's been really enjoyable to view your content. So that's something you're looking to do more of moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to figure out what to do now that I'm on this side of boxing. And one of the things that I've always wanted to do was to be a better speaker. So this is just a good way to get my reps in, talking about something that I know. If I can get onto shows and talk about the fights and stuff, it's a win-win. I get my reps in and speaking publicly and stuff, and I get to talk about something that I love, which is boxing, and I get to pass on my knowledge as well. So yeah, win-win-win.
So in boxing in the modern world, you say there that you wanted to get better at speaking. Do you feel like that ever held you back during your career? That you got to be a master salesman as well as a very skillful boxer in the modern world of boxing?
Not really. It's more of like a childhood fear that I had to try and overcome because I've got a stutter, and so I've got like memories of me making a fool of myself in primary school and in high school. I was so awkward. But then as I grew up around 18 and stuff, so this was before I turned pro, I became very, very comfortable with myself. I definitely still had the stutter. I just became better at hiding it. But I've always had the same personality of like trying to express myself and having fun, lighthearted dude, but just had the stutter, man.
It's great to hear that you've overcome that, and you like you say you're dipping your toes in the boxing media world. If we just go back,
Yeah.
the first time I've had the pleasure of having you on the channel, so I just want to talk about your early days in the sport, your amateur career. I know you represented Tonga at the Commonwealth Games. Spent a little bit of time over in the UK as well around those times with Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua. So take me back to those days and your amateur career.
Yeah, man. Good old days, bro. Good old days. So uh yeah, in my amateur career, I started boxing when I was 16. Um I s- I like a lot of people here, and probably similar to the UK as well. We all grow up on rugby. So rugby was like the sport that everyone gets put into, and I got put into that. I didn't like it, bro. And man, I've got the size and talent for it. I just don't have the mentality for it, but that's just not my sport, bro. That's not my sport.
Just to
And
pick
then
up on that
so
there, sorry, not to cut you off, but just to pick you up on that there with the mentality. Expand on that a little bit in terms of the mentality of, boxing, rugby, two extremely tough physical sports. When you say you didn't have the mentality for boxing, but you've got, sorry, for rugby, but you've got it for boxing, what's the difference between the two? I'm really intrigued by that.
so for me, I looked at rugby as a real like hard game, bro. Like it's a like you're just running full steam at someone and just it's just continuously clashing bodies, but it's a very physical game. And I didn't like that, bro. And but I looked at boxing very different. I looked at boxing like I saw the technical side of it straight away. I didn't really see the violence. Like, well, I mean, yes, it's violent and it's scary, but I didn't see it that way. I saw it as like I always called it a high risk game of tag. So that's yeah. So that's the way that I saw it, and then I saw it as fun, and sometimes you get punched in the head. Oh well.
Yes, and as you were in terms of your amateur career in the Commonwealth Games, I cut you off there, sorry, but yeah, as you were with that.
Yeah. So I went to the Commonwealth Games, the 2010 Commonwealth Games. I actually faced the English representative, which kind of has a story linked with Anthony Joshua. I don't really know what the situation there was. I remember there were talks about Anthony Joshua. Um, so I think in England they were either going to send this guy, like the guy that I beat, or Anthony Joshua. But this is way before people knew him.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they went with the other guy. Then I beat him. Then I went on to the semis and I lost to the Indian, which was the guy who won the gold. Um, yeah, and then after that, I got called over to England. We just had like some kind of scholarship thing for Tonga. Went over there, got to meet like the big GB squad and the system they have there, bro. Insane, man. I like when I went there and I got to like train with them, and then then I got to spar with Anthony Joshua and stuff. So this was before Joe Joyce was in it, and so yeah, I think it was just Anthony Joshua that was there. Anthony Joshua, some of the other guys that were there at that time. I don't know if anyone else made it big that was there when I was there. Oh well, like you got your Luke Campbells and stuff that was there and stuff, and then I came back a couple of years after because I got selected to be in the Great British Lionhearts when the UK team had a team in the WSB. This was when I came back and I was sparring with Anthony Joshua and Joe Joyce and stuff. That was a fun time. So at that time, I actually got to train with the GB squad. You guys train so hard, man. And it's no surprise you guys are as successful as you are because a great system there, man. A great system there. Um, and yeah, so that's basically my amateur career. And like during that WSB um, run, that was like the time that Usyk was basically in it, and he kicked my butt. And then he went on and he kicked Joe Joyce's butt. Then he went on and he kicked on like, and he beat every heavyweight that was there. I was like, so what the heck? So we all knew Alexander Usyk was going to be a problem as soon as he decided to go heavyweight. But yeah, but I think that was my amateur career basically.
Absolutely. Talk to me about the one name that's synonymous with yourself, and you had a bit of an amateur background. You fought in the pros, Joe Parker. Talk to me about that
Mm.
rivalry in those days. And I think you went, was it 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses against each other?
Yeah, so me and Joesph Parker, we grew up at the same time in boxing. Um, we didn't cross paths too much when we were both coming up, and then I remember I I stopped boxing for like a little bit for a few months, and then I saw that there's this new heavyweight kid in town, and then I was like, oh okay, and I got back into training, and then yeah, and then that basically started off our little rivalry, so to speak. You know what I mean? So we had 4 fights, 2 wins, 2 losses, good times. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool because we we were from pretty much the same part of the woods. Both of us are from South Auckland, in New Zealand. I grew up probably like 20 minutes away from each other, so pretty close. But he went to his local gym. I went to this other gym, and yeah, and then just kept a good competitive spirit between us two. And then he just went on freaking all the way to the top, man. Awesome.
So, it's quite unique, that, isn't it? That in a country like New Zealand and those parts where boxing isn't the first, second, or third sport. I dare say it might not even be in the top five sports, and to have two top world class heavyweight prospects coming up at the same time within 20 minutes of each other, that's quite unique and something to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had a program, or sorry, if we just had a government system that took interest in boxing. Because I look over to you guys, and you guys funded by the government, right? Like
Yeah.
like there's a full system there, and that's the same. That's the same, and to our rivalry buddies and just across the ditch over in Australia, they got the same thing. You know what I mean? The government backs their sports people. We don't get that, and we have so much talent, man. If we were just backed, by the government, and if they believed in us, and then if we could show that there's a lot more talent here than just talented rugby players. You know, we have awesome athletes, but the only successful option is mostly rugby. But man, if we can get some of these boxes out there, man, like it'll be so cool, so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And fingers crossed we can, or you guys can get something in place for that. Let's skip forward a couple of chapters. Talk to me about New Zealand's fight of the century when you met Joesph Parker in the pros. The fight didn't go your way, but it was a good competitive fight. What's your memories of that night, Junior?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was just just two South Auckland boys fighting in a big Spark arena. It was pretty awesome because Joesph Parker, he didn't have to fight me. He because I was like way down the ranks, but he wanted to keep busy. And during that time, I think we just came out of COVID, and COVID was still lurking around. So traveling and trying to go overseas and get an opponent that was like here and there, and no one knew what was happening. So yeah, so then he chose to fight me, and then I was like, sweet, let's go. So yeah, and that was a cool night. It was a cool lead up. Um, I wasn't really nervous or anything because like yes, he's done this and that, but we've been in the ring with each other for so long. I know what he fights like. He knows how I fight. So no, maybe we're pretty much still the same fighters. Whenever I see fighters and they say that they've like added this to their style and like added that to the style, it's really ever true. You know what I mean? You hardly see people or fighters change their styles dramatically. That's you know. So so I knew what to expect. I wasn't too nervous. It was just the occasion
Yeah.
that was new to me because bigger crowd. They're not there to. I mean, they are there to cheer for me as well. But he was a heavy favorite. We went on 12 rounds. I think that was my first 12 round fight,
Mm.
I believe. And yeah, no, it was fun, man. It was fun. It was fun. I really thanked them for the great opportunity that he gave me because he didn't have to give it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a lot of learnings from that. And
It really
then
did have
it's pretty cool.
a big fight feel that fight, especially you look at the situation that was going on around the globe with COVID and everything else and the restrictions and big fights were few and far between anywhere in the world. Whether it be New Zealand, Australia, America, the UK. I still remember as a fan myself thinking, this has a big fight feel because we wasn't used to it. We were starved of the attention, and it even caught fire over here and and in America especially. We love narratives and storylines to fights. And as soon as people started digging into your amateur background and two fights, two wins, it was almost like a settler, like a rubber match. And yeah, it just had that big fight feel. And I'm sure closer to home it had that as well because it's quite unique against boxing not being the number one sport that you two guys could put on such a big event at such a difficult time.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Like the lead up was fun. But he and I are very similar, you know what I mean? We're not very much like trash talkers or anything. So there wasn't too much to sell, just the reputations of who we were and what we could do in the ring and our past history and stuff. But yeah, man, it was such a weird time, but it was a great night and a great opportunity. Even though I didn't come away with the win, plenty to take away.
Yeah, no, following on from that, you had a fight with Lucas Brown that was looked at as, Lucas Brown's a dangerous puncher, but that was looked at as like a good comeback opponent for yourself. It didn't go your way with defeat in the first round. Talk to me about that. And was that more of a difficult defeat to take, given that Joesph Parker had been world champion? You'd went the 12 rounds. The disappointment of the first round loss to Lucas Brown, was that more of a bitter pill to swallow?
Yeah, yeah, but like very, 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 very tough night. You know what I mean? Just one of those moments. What is it like? George St. Pierre says, stuff like this happens. Like he zigged when he should have zagged. It was just one of those moments. I got caught in a very vulnerable place, and then was just disconnected
Yeah.
from my brain and my feet. I didn't know where I was. You know what I mean? And it was just like, ah, damn it, man. You know what I
It was
mean?
because, like you say, from the
It was
top
just
half up,
one
it
of
looked
those.
like from the top half up, everything was there. Like you say, you seen in your face, you recognise that you got
Yeah,
caught, your hands were up, but the disconnect is a perfect word because your legs wasn't there,
yeah.
was they? And it was quite
Nah.
bizarre to see because it was two halves of the body doing two different things.
Yeah, I remember I was like I was trying my hardest to get up every single time, but I was so mad because I was just like, why am I not moving? What the heck? And I'm just like fighting the whole time. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. And I'm surprised that the ref let me fight, bro.
It's good to see that you're in such great
I was
spirits
not
about it.
there.
Yeah, I was just saying it's really good to see that you're in good spirits now, and clearly, you're at peace and you dealt with the demons of that loss.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Like a lot of people do wish I got the rematch and stuff. I'm just like, hey, man, if it comes, it comes. But um, if it came, it came. It didn't. We tried to get it. It didn't come. So I was like, hey, all good. On to the next one, man. Know what I mean? I can't get so bitter and sour about it. Life goes on, man.
Uh,
Yeah.
We've seen with Lucas that he went on to fight in bare knuckle, and what's your opinion on that sport? It seems to be that a lot of boxers, when they come to the end of the boxing career, they're taking the gloves off, they're going into bare knuckle. Is there anything that's ever interested you? And if not, what's your opinion on that sport?
Nah, it's something that I've never been interested in that. I see it. I'm like, whew, that's brutal, bro. It's just brutal on the body, you know what I mean? So much bare knuckle. That's insane. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say about it. I mean, yeah, for 12 of them, sweet. Not for me. Not for me. I don't even think I've watched one fight. Wait, no, no, I have seen like highlights and stuff, but it's very different from boxing, right? Very, very different. There's not you can't punch the same, you can't defend the same. There's like, no like protection here. So very, very different type of art that requires a lot more balls, bro. I was just like, I'm okay, man. Not for me.
Just going back to Joesph Parker, we've seen in recent years that he went on a great run of form. He was beating Zhilei Zhang, Deontay Wilder, amongst other top contenders, Martin Bakole at short notice. And then he goes in with Fabio Wardley and he was knocked out. Was you surprised by that result that Fabio Wardley beat Joesph Parker, given the run that he was on a form, the amateur background, the more experience with Joesph Parker, and he was upset by Fabio Wardley on the night? Was that a surprise too?
100%, man. Fabio Wardley, bro. He is a tough cookie, bro. Holy heck. From his fight, especially the fight that he had with Justice Honey, and he was getting like proper beaten up for what was it, 10 rounds or something. I think he knocked out. I think he knocked him out in the 10th round. But holy heck, from round one to that moment, it was one way traffic, and a lot of people would have gave in, man. A lot of people would have gave in. I mean, the Joseph Parker it wasn't so much one sided that there were back and forth moments, but Justice Honey beat him up, and then he got caught. So for Fabio Wardley to go through that, it's like, dude, that was unbelievable. And then I was wondering if he was able to do that again
Yeah.
with Joseph Parker, and he was like, but basically in the fight. Um, Joseph Parker was going in. He was finding a lot of success, but Fabio Wardley super tough, and then he came back at times, made it a really competitive fight, caught him a few times, and then took him out. I mean, then he forced the stoppage. And the thing with me with Fabio Wardley is how many of those can he take? Because they take a lot out of you, man.
Well, we've seen it with Joe
So
Joyce, haven't we? We've seen Joe Joyce go to the well one too many times, be in them wars, come through, and everyone's kind of like, "How are you doing this?" And then comes into the fight with Big Bang Zhang a couple of times. It gets found out, and he's not quite been the same. Do you think we're heading down that path with Fabio Wardley, with all due respect?
I think so. But the thing with Fabio Ward is that he doesn't really have as many miles on the clock, so
Yep.
he's not as much damage because he comes from the white collar boxing background, and most, if not all, of the elite fighters in the pro game come from a very extensive amateur career, hundreds of fights, many wars in the amateurs, and many spars. Fabio Ward doesn't have that, so he could probably take a bit more than what these other pros can, and he's definitely got the chance to do so. But with with the type of guys that he's fighting, bro, I feel if he doesn't sort out his defense and just makes it a bit tidier and um just a bit healthier for himself, then I feel like someone is going to catch him in a very bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the fight, we was all shocked with the news of Joesph Parker failing a drug test, and I think the substance in question was cocaine. So there's a blurred line whether or not it's a performance enhancing drug or not. But all being whatever way you want to dress it up, it's a failed drug test. At the end of the day, full stop. The boxing world was shocked. Joesph Parker's always had this impression of being a great guy. He's always come across as a great guy. Um, was you as shocked as everybody else when that finding was discovered that he'd failed a drug test?
Not really, because I don't I'm very aware enough to understand that what you see from people on the screen is not the full story. So I didn't like judge them for that or anything, but when they came out, I'm just like, oh dang, okay. But like, yeah, just as you said, like I personally wasn't surprised because you know that doesn't really mean you're a bad person. It just probably means that hey, this is I don't know, like it's something that you might do here and there. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've got a lot of good mates. They kind of dabble and stuff like that. That doesn't mean they're bad people. So I don't look at them like that. It's just but the whole situation was very like, what? On
Yeah.
the night of the fight? What? So even though I didn't judge him on that, it's just that situation really took me out. Just like, that doesn't wait, what? So yeah, I didn't really know what to make of it on that side of things. Yeah.
Let's move on to your fight on the Riyadh season card. Something I was eager to pick your brains about, given that it was such a big event. I think it was we had a couple of shows beforehand with Fury and Ngannou, but this felt like the real groundbreaking moment. Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn working together after all these years of rivalry. We had yourself, Kabayel, Makhmudov, Joshua Wilder, Parker, Wallin. The names just keep coming. Dimitri Bivol.
Mm, mm.
Talk to me initially about the opportunity arising, and then the whole event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, heading into the fight. How was that whole experience?
Man, it was man. It came at a good time because it was at a time when I hadn't had a fight for like over a year, and that was kind of the story for the last few fights that I had in my professional career. They've been like a year apart, and that's what really kills fighters. Is if like if you don't keep them busy, then how do you feed your family? What's the point of doing this? And it came at a really good time because that's when I was really considering um, like doing something else. But then that came. Uh, I was very lucky to get the fight. I think I was just in good position with my promoter at the time, which is Lou DeBella, and that's something I think a lot of people should maybe keep in mind. Like when you're with your promoter, if you're not like the best guy that they have, don't be like trying to yell and scream down the place and try to force them to give you a fight. Like try to build good like rapport with them because that's something that I always had was like I would just patiently wait, and then when the opportunity came to him, he picked my name because he's like, oh yeah, there we go. Like, his junior, he's been, real cool. I'll give him the opportunity. And then he gave me the opportunity. Um, Turkey Al Sheikh, like ridiculous money. I'm just like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, right. I was like, oh, sweet, yes, please, I'll fight him.
Safe to say the career high
um,
payday that night.
yeah, that was yeah, it was crazy, man. I was telling I was telling the stream when I was doing the TFMO fight because one of the guys asked me about Turkey. I was like, bro, it's ridiculous money, man. Like, yeah, it was just funny because they gave the first offer, which was a good offer, and then business, you just don't accept the first offer,
Yeah.
and then they came back with the next offer, and I was just like, whoa! I was like, yeah, right, sweet then. It is like, oh, sure, why not?
If I
I
have to.
twisted my arm, and then and then but just the whole lead up was pretty cool. So for that fight, I got flown over to Deontay Wilder's camp. So Deontay Wilder has called me over to help him for his fight for a few fights. I think I've helped him with 4 or 5 camps. So so this opportunity came up. Actually, no, no. First, I got a call from them. So first, JD's his coach slash manager called me up and was like, "Oh, hey, Junior, keep this on the down low, but there's going to be a huge Saudi Arabia fight, and we need you to come over to basically, help us prepare for Joesph Parker. Are you willing to do that?" And like, at that time, I didn't know that I didn't know that I was going to be on the card too. And at that point, I didn't have any source of income, so I was like, "Yeah, bro, sweet as man, I'll be there because I get to do my job. I get to train and I get to get paid as well. So it wasn't like a personal thing against Joseph Parker. This is my
Obviously.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next minute, like I think 12 hours later after that call, I found out that I was on the card also. So it was like a win-win. Yeah, we got flown over to London first for the press conference. Got to meet everyone there. We got buddy Boval over there, Jahai Pataya, all the big boys, Jarrell Miller, Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Bro, I was buzzing, bro. And then went back to Alabama, trained with Deontay Wilder, went over to Saudi Arabia. Very different country, Saudi Arabia. First time that I've been there. I've been to countries similar to that, but first time I was there, the driving was crazy. It was like 4 lanes. You got like 8 cars. Like holy heck! But it was crazy. Hotels were nice. Food was nice. It was just cool being in a place where like all the fighters were, and it was one of those cards where everyone was there to win. Because in boxing and boxing cards, sometimes it's a very, very heavily one-sided card. And this card was like everyone was there to fight. So yeah, it was a different type of feel and that lead up. And yeah, and just that experience of being there, the lead up, watching everyone train, passing everyone and the hotels and stuff, and seeing how serious everyone was. It just felt super good. It felt like we were back in the amateurs. You know what I mean? Without the without the business side of it, everyone's there to fight. Everyone's there to like to to basically give it their best. No one's just come for a payday. We're all there to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then uh come the night of the fight, super cool. Oh man, we were fighting super late, so that was something I had to get used to. Um, but yeah, no, it just felt cool, man. Felt cool. Went into the ring. I felt great when I was walking in the ring. I felt awesome. felt awesome. It felt like a very long time since I've been in the ring. But well, yeah, because it was a very long time. Went into the ring, got in my groove. I really did get into my groove. I felt like I was frustrating Frank Sanchez, and then I got comfortable. I got very comfortable in my range, and then switched off for a split second, and he took advantage of it. Came up with a 1-2 that I did not see, and yeah, man, and then they caught me. I didn't recover. I remember because he caught me at the end of either round number 5 or 6, and then stayed by the bell type of thing. Went back to my corner, tried to recover as fast as I could. The next round started. I came out into the ring, and then he threw a jab to my body, and my reaction time was so slow. I was like, shit. I was like, oh no. I was like, damn it, bro. I am 2 steps behind. Crap, crap, crap. And then, yeah, and then I tried to bluff it, but then he just caught me. I was like, damn it. And then yeah, and then that was basically my career. I came home, had Christmas, had New Year's, and then my life philosophy changed. I left the sport. Now I'm doing this.
So we skip forward a touch there, but just one fight I wanted to mention there and expand a little bit on. Was you surprised, given that you was in camp with Deontay Wilder, was you surprised that Joesph Parker won on the night, or did you see things in camp with Deontay Wilder where you thought, you know what, Joe's got a chance here? Because going in, he was an underdog. Let's not mince our words. He was an underdog going into that Deontay Wilder fight. Did you see anything in camp with Deontay where you thought, oh, Joe's going to do this. Joe's in with a shot.
Yes, yes, I did see. I felt like he took away his best weapon. So if you noticed, after the Fury fights, Deontay Wilder's style changed, and he went and I think he fought Robert Helenius. And if you watch that fight, if you see the way he was moving around, he was moving around. He doesn't usually do that. He usually plants his feet and states his ground and forces everyone to move around him, which makes sense. He's like the hardest puncher in boxing history. Why do you need to move? Everyone should be moving for you. When I came into that camp for Joesph Parker and he was moving around, I was like, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Because I've done so many camps with him. Like when you're in there with him, you know what he possesses.
Yep.
He's knocked out everyone. So I was just like, oh dude, so so you can't fight him the same as you would fight anyone else, and so you have to move around him because to me, he was great when he planted his feet and he had that long stance and he kept himself long and and he basically hit himself uh, right behind his jab and his shoulder and he fires off that too. He's so dangerous at that. Sometimes it's awkward, but that's his style that he's basically mastered. But when I saw him moving around, I wasn't too sure if he was going to lose. I just knew that it wasn't his best. Um, I just knew that that style wasn't for him
So when
because, as I said at the start, I felt like he's not taking advantage of his best weapon. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you're in camp there, you got in as a sparring partner. Do you bite your tongue there? Do you share your opinions, or do you just see it as, I'm there to do a job, I'm there as a sparring partner, that's their business, and you kind of bite your tongue? Like, how does that work? Do you share your opinion, or do you keep it to yourself?
No, I mean, he's only hired me as a sparring partner. He has hired his trainers to be his trainers, and he fully trusts them. And who am I to say, like, what I got to say? And plus, they got evidence that their style works. In his fight with Robert Helenius, he knocks out Robert Helenius when he himself was moving backwards, which is a very, very awkward thing. You know what I mean? When he knocks someone going up, like going backwards, that's something that like Ali done,
Yeah.
and he basically done the same thing. So there's evidence there that that works. So even if I spoke up, it doesn't really change anything in their mind. I mean, like maybe if they mastered that type of style, it could have worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just like, to me personally, I just didn't think it was the right style for him. But in those situations, as I said, I'm a sparring partner. I'm not his coach. I'll leave that to them. That is their job, and that's who he's trusted in that role.
absolutely. So, as you say there, you took the loss to Frank Sanchez. You go back home. You celebrate Christmas, New Year. At what point did it hit you that you was going to retire, and that was a decision that you was going to make? Was it straight after the fight? Was it enjoying that downtime? Was there a moment where you sat down and was honest with yourself?
Oh man, it was a I'm happy I went through this because it's something that I don't think most fighters go through. I know some people go through this. So there's this thing in philosophy. I think it's a philosophical thing where it's called the dark night of the soul. So that's basically when your whole identity changes, and that's what I basically went through. So after New Year's, I kept myself busy. I was training. I didn't go to the gym because I didn't go to my boxing gym. I was going to the gym. I was punching the bag, but the gym that I go to was basically like 30 minutes away. So I was just training locally, but it felt different. Like like it felt different. Like training didn't feel the same anymore. I was asking my questions. Why am I training so hard to hurt people? Like yeah, but like it was a massive mental shift. And then I explored it because I was doing stuff that I don't usually do. Like I was up really really late at night, just going through this freaking crisis, and and then I'm crying and stuff like, oh, what is going on? I saw a, a therapist. We talked it through. Then yeah, I just made my decision. I'm like, okay, I don't look at life the same anymore. I can't justify being in the sport anymore. I definitely can. Like, I still feel like I definitely have the ability to. I'm young enough, and I'm talented enough, but I don't have that animal in me anymore. You know what I mean? I don't need to feed that part of me anymore. So there's nothing to really drive that, like the real boxer inside of me, like that real fight inside of me. And since I didn't have that, I was like, hey man, this is a dangerous business. If I'm not all in, then I got to be all out. So yeah, so then I just retired, and I knew it was the right decision because the first boxing show that I went to after that, I didn't have the feeling, I didn't feel that urge to fight because that's what usually happens when boxers go to a show. They're watching a boxing show. We always like, oh man, I wish there was me in there. I didn't have that. So yeah, and so I was like, oh yeah, that's over. That fight on me is gone. I can honestly say that I'll never be back in the sport as a fighter.
Just to pick up on that there, and we'll never truly know because we're talking about hindsight, but do you think this mental process, the situation you found yourself in, this rediscovering of yourself, if you like, do you think this still would have taken place even if you was victorious over Frank Sanchez, or do you think it would have just been delaying it?
I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? Well, no, maybe my oh, lack of a better word, maybe my spirit had probably took enough punches. Was like, hey, bro, that's it for us, bro. We are changing this brain so that you feel different. But yeah, no, who knows? You know, who knows? But I definitely knew that my time in the sport as a fighter was done.
You seem very at peace with it, and that's great to see. But I've got to play devil's advocate here. Jai Apatai potentially moving up to heavyweight. Justice Honey's going to make a comeback. Is there no amount of millions that could tempt you back into the ring? As certain as you seem now that you wouldn't lace them up again, these are some big opportunities, local opportunities as well in your part of the world.
Mm,
Is there nothing that could drag you back out of retirement?
nah. As I said, I just really couldn't justify that anymore. Well, I mean, as I said, like the whole my whole life's philosophy changed. Like I didn't just leave the sport. I went through nihilism. I gone vegan. I was just like, why are we hurting these animals, bro? Like, bro, I fully changed. I fully changed. And then so if I'm not willing to hurt an animal, then there's no justification for me to try and hurt someone else. Especially for money. You know what I mean? There's other ways to make money. So I'm just like, nah, man, that's me. I'm gone. But I do get that question a lot. What if Jake Paul, but he gives him 100 minutes? Like, nah, bro, I'm done.
You
I'm
know, it's really
done.
refreshing to hear. Really, really refreshing to hear, and especially in this day and age, where fighters are maybe fighting on a little bit too long. A fight that I was going to mention, and we'll get on to Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora. There's been calls for these guys to retire for a number of years, and it's quite
Mm.
refreshing to see somebody that he's still arguably in and around your prime, still young enough, talented enough, as you've said, still got marketability because you've only lost to really good fighters. That you can be at peace with yourself. So, I really do appreciate your honesty and being open with the realignment of your life. It's really refreshing to hear.
Yeah, no, no, thank you so much, man. I do. I've seen fighters that have gone through that, and I see fighters that speak like they are past the sport. And then I see fighters who also can't let it go. And as I said at the start of this, I'm glad I went through this so that I'm not like kind of leaving the sport and then coming back in and leaving the sport and coming back in because of the money. I'm glad that I left the sport the way that I did. I'm glad Lucas Brown and Frank Sanchez and Joesph Parker kicked my ass so that I'm never coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's yeah, as I say, and I do get called. Um, I do get a kind word saying that I do seem like I am at peace because I am at peace and I'm happy with what I done and I'm happy with where I'm at and it really aligns with me. And like you know what I mean? What I say and how I feel is in proper alignment and I'm good. I'm good on the side.
Amazing, really good to hear. I know it's going to get late your time, so I won't keep you too much longer. But I'll just pick your brains. We'll go through rapid fire, and we'll get your thoughts on some of the goings on in the sporting world. First of all, we'll step away from the heavyweight scene. A video of yours that I've seen: Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, an absolute masterclass from Shakur Stevenson, four-weight world champion. You was very vocal, as was I, with the performance of Teofimo Lopez Sr. in the corner of Junior. It seemed that he was badly exposed. Take nothing away from Shakur Stevenson. He was fantastic on the night, as he has been throughout his career, but really lacking in terms of a game plan and guidance from Lopez Sr., in my opinion. I'm sure it's something you agree with.
100%. That's what happens when like you have someone there who does not know what they're doing. He has no idea what he's looking at. I mean, the critics like the stuff you were saying, his power was gone. I don't know what happened to his power. I'm like, dude, you're speaking like some idiot on the freaking Instagram comments. You know what I mean? They have no idea what's going on. It's like, yeah, the power's not there because Shakur isn't like letting him do
Yeah.
anything. He can't set his feet. And then like and in terms of the range, sometimes he thinks Shakur's gonna stand there, sometimes Shakur doesn't. He doesn't know when to plant his feet and like when to throw, when to bridge the gap. So it's like it's all stuff that he does not know um how to handle what's like going on. You know what I mean? He to me, he just had no idea what was going on, and it was frustrating, man. Because in those moments, you need your dad,
Yeah.
and his dad was doing that. It's yeah,
We said we
it
said
sucks
before
for
about
Tio.
hindsight being a wonderful thing, and I seen a clip on social media, and it's when they do the split camera on the live broadcast, and they kind of go back to each fighter's dressing room, and you had Shakur doing a bit of pads and talking to his team, and then you had Teofimo Lopez Jr. He was doing that Grinch thing, where he's bouncing at the camera and
Yeah,
from the Grinch movie when he's scaring the dog, and Senior's behind it with his middle fingers up, looking like some sort of wannabe rapper or something, And in hindsight, you're kind of thinking, what was going on this whole time? It was hiding in plain sight, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, it's one of those situations where like Tio. Yeah, Tio Jr. really loves his dad and he understands him in a way that we don't. You know what I mean? We all think he's a dickhead. We all think he's an idiot. Tio T is a real responsible kid, man. And yeah, I, if he wasn't his dad, I felt like that guy would have been fired so long ago. But that's his dad. He he knows his dad, and he also knows what he needs. Maybe he needs that type of coaching, or like a guy like that in the corner. I don't know, bro. Yeah,
The sad side of the sport as well, we've seen Shakur in a post-fight interview. He alluded to the fact that he went for the post-fight medical and whatnot, and he was in a very celebratory mood. And he gets there, and Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s there on his own. He's all busted up, bruised up. His ego shattered. He's taken a defeat in a huge fight in front of millions of people. And you can only compare that to what it would have been if Teofimo Lopez Jr. had won and the amount of people that would have been around him. And to think of, this young man going through all that and then just sat there in the medical room on his own, it must be a heartbreaking situation to be in. Sad.
yeah. I mean, thank goodness I've never been in that situation, man. Like my losses and stuff. I like usually in your losses, like your team is right there with you. You know what I mean? And your wins, like your team is there, but your fans are like right there as well. But and your losses, like like usually in every fighter's team, and after their loss, they are surrounded by their team. And it's sad that we didn't see that in Teofimo Lopez. He really should have been surrounded by his team because that's what usually happens. But it's sad, man. It's sad. I don't know what the future looks like for Teofimo Lopez Jr. I mean, he's definitely good enough to beat like a lot of the dudes, but just at that moment, and in terms of what's going to happen with his father and his team, who knows, bro? Maybe a new revamp of like coaching staff and management, and well, mind you, I don't really know what his management looks like, but something has to happen. Something has to happen for sure.
Yeah, we wish him the best. And again, congratulations to Shakur on a fantastic win. Again, we'll go through these rapid fire, but Jarrell Big Baby Miller, hair raising moment with Kingsley Ibe. Your reaction says it all. There's been nothing
Oh.
that's sorting boxing. And just when you think we've seen it all, Jerome Miller with his toupee coming off mid-fight into the crowd. And not only did he took it into the crowd, it landed next to WBO heavyweight world champion Fabio Wardley. You just couldn't make this up, could you?
Oh, it was hilarious, bro. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it, and I'm glad that I caught it on camera because, oh my gosh, my question was like, why did you think that was a good idea? How did you think that was a good idea? You're going into a place where you're fighting, and you know you're gonna get punched, and your hair's fake. Your hair's like the wind. Oh man. Yeah, but the best thing that came from it was Jarrell Miller, bro. He is so funny, and he knows how to work the crowd, man. At the end of the second round, comes out of the corner, he grabs it, he's like, yeah. And then even after the fight, he's like making fun of himself. It's so funny, bro.
But the
But
best thing is that
yeah,
the fight didn't play out to be such a great fight, and it doesn't even matter now because his marketability, his stock has risen so much through his
yeah.
name being viral that it doesn't even matter. He got the win. The performance doesn't matter because all everyone's going to remember is Tupe.
Man, yeah, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Something like that really, really helped them because like everyone is laughing about it. He's laughing about it. He's making the most of it. He's going on tour. I saw him. He put up like put up a picture of him and someone else. I think he's going on a talk show, and it's like one of those AI generated photos, and it's him, and he's got his missing hair and stuff. It's like, dude, this guy's so funny, bro. It's man, it's genius. It's genius. I don't know what you call it. It's a terrific rebound. You know,
Yeah.
awesome.
I get your quick thoughts on Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora. It's a fight we mentioned earlier. Two guys at the tail end of their great careers, respectively. Your thoughts quickly on that fight?
Ooh, that's a that's a hmm that's a fight that can end quickly if Deontay Wilder lines him up perfectly and he gets him out of there. Because, well, then again, does he still have that snap? Does he still have that punch? I mean, surely he does. That's the last thing that leaves a fighter. But then again, like he had like killer power, right? I definitely rank him in terms of like hardest punches that there's ever been. He's like he must be top three, right? Because the way that he knocks people out is crazy, bro. Like he touches them, boom, and they are out. Someone like someone who was like that is David Tua. David Tua was like that too. As soon as they connected, boom, guys were out. Other knockout artists, it wasn't so devastating
Yeah.
as that, in my opinion. When you look back at the footage on how on the reactions to people that got punched by him, uh, definitely up there. So if Deontay Wilder still has that, there's a possibility that this fight gets stopped like early. If not, this has the possibility of maybe Derek Chisora forcing the stoppage, where Deontay Wilder can't defend himself intelligently, and then a stoppage is forced. But then this also has the potential of it being a terrible fight, where where it's just so awkward because Deontay Wilder is so long, and it makes it awkward for Derek Chisora because he's struggling to land anything because of the height difference and the length difference. Yeah, so it's got that potential as well. Where I stand with this is that I think this could be a good fight. I think if they both turn up on the night, this could be a brilliant back and forth. Brilliant. Like, I don't see this. I don't see this fight going the 4 rounds. If it's a good fight, if it's a terrible performance, then we're in for a snooze fest. But if not, this will be a pretty lethal fight, I reckon. And it really could go either way. Either Derek Chisora forces a stoppage, or Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, comes back and knocks him out clean.
Yeah, we look forward to that fight. The return of Tyson Fury against Aslan Bekmambetov, the former long-time heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. He retired again, come back from that retirement to the surprise of nobody, but he's back. Aslan Bekmambetov, a massive opportunity. It's going to be broadcast on Netflix, so it's going to be seen by millions and millions and millions of people. You're happy to see Tyson Fury back in the heavyweight division? Do you think he's good for the sport? And what do you think of Aslan Bekmambetov as a comeback opponent?
Yeah, this is good. This is good. I mean, because right now the heavyweight division is a bit confusing. We don't really know what's happening, especially with the top fighters. What is happening with Usyk? What is happening with well, heck, what is happening with Joesph Parker and the B sample? We don't know what is happening with Five Wardley. I don't know. So there's a lot of people there. It's just like the wheels have stopped turning for some reason. So with Tyson Fury coming back, yeah, it's good. At least we're getting something moving in the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury looks like he's still got it. I don't know if that guy will ever properly retire. The guy's going to be fighting forever, I think. Um, uh, him fighting Arslan Bekmambetov, yeah, this is a good this is a good opponent for Tyson Fury. You know, Tyson Fury brilliant on his feet. Mark Arslanbek, not so much. We fought in the amateurs. Me and Makhmudov.
Okay.
Same thing. I knew that he was like stuck in the mud, so to speak. So I same thing. I just moved around him, jab, jab, move, jab, jab, move, one, sweet. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be the same here. Tyson Fury is such a brilliant boxer. He's long, uh, slickness is there. I think it's going to be a brilliant performance from Tyson Fury. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm very comfortable saying that. I don't think Arslan Makmudov is going to pose any problems for Tyson Fury, in my opinion, unless Tyson Fury has indeed slowed down. Then he gets caught. But
Yeah,
then again, he's got a bloody granite chin.
yeah,
You know?
a lot of heart as well.
So yeah, like plenty of fights in him. But in my honest opinion, yeah, Tyson Fury is just gonna he's gonna put the heavyweight division back on notice. He's gonna reinstate himself as the Gypsy King and say the Gypsy King is back and that he's gonna come for the belts. He's gonna be calling Usyk's name once again.
Yeah. Yeah, we look forward to that fight and to what is to come with Tyson Fury. Just a quick word to close out. At the opposite end of the scale, we're talking about these fighters at the end of their careers and what might be next. But a guy right at the very beginning of his career making a lot of waves, certainly in the UK, and I'm sure these waves are rippling across the world, is Moses Itauma. He's going in with Jermaine Franklin, the toughest fight of his young career just yet. But you fully aware of Moses Itauma and the exciting heavyweight prospect we have on our hands here in the UK?
Dude, who 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 isn't aware of him, man? He is such a talent, bro. Insane. Insane speed, insane power, his footwork, bro. He's someone I think it's been mentioned so many times. I think if someone can fight Usyk and give him some compared like someone that we could say, ooh, you know what I mean? Because most guys will be say that they're gonna fight Usyk, it's like oh man, Usyk. Where's the time versus Usyk? Ooh, that's a like the only thing that you can really like, snob about that is just that is his experience in the sport as a professional. But the talent is there, right? The talent is there, and what we've seen so far with what's in his bag of tricks and the talent and the skills and his awareness, like he's put on a full display that he can really do everything, right? He really does have it all. So massive talent. I think him and Jermaine Franklin. I think it's a great matchup for Moses Talma. Moses Talma needs someone like Jermaine or Franklin. Yeah, someone like Jermaine Franklin, someone who's very smart and savvy in the ring. You know, he knows how to survive. He's not silly. He knows when to punch and when not to. I mean, he's from the US, massive history in boxing, skills, amazing skills. I mean, I don't think he's going to pose too much of a problem. But if he can make it frustrating in there for Moses Talma, hopefully we see some rounds. If Moses Talma is as good as we think, then there's going to be another highlight reel win.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
We look forward to the rise of Moses Itauma, beginning with that fight with Jermaine Franklin. But Junior, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for speaking to us here at SimBoxx. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel, and I really do appreciate your time today.
No problem, man. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll catch up again real soon. And again, thanks for your time.